Well, what is going on, everybody? This is your boy Juggernaut097, and welcome back to the Juggernaut Show. And yes, I know this is a late review, but you know what they say. It's better late than never to put something out. So I'm going to be talking about AEW All Out 2022. So I'm going to roll that intro, and after that, I'll be right here to review AEW All Out from 2022, which happened last Sunday, which was that the 4th? Yeah, which was Sunday, September 4th. So yeah, which was last it was last weekend. So I'm gonna be reviewing that here. So stay tuned. Okay, what is going on, everybody? And welcome back to the Juggernaut Show. I'm your host, Juggernaut097. Okay, so AEW All Out, which happened last weekend. It was a crazy show, and I feel like with everything that happened after the show, really really have people, talking about, what happened after the show rather than, talking, what happened on the show, talking about it positively. Because I feel like there's a lot of negative things that came from this show, like, especially after, which we will talk about. We'll talk about the press conference and talk about everything that happened after the show here. Well, after I get done talking about the matches here. So let's quit wasting time and let's get started with this review. So I'm not going to talk about the 0 hour. I'm not going to talk about that. Like, if you guys want to go watch that, go check out those matches. I mean, some matches are nice on there. Maybe I might talk about the end here. I doubt it though. We'll see. But the first match on the actual card, we had a casino ladder match, and the winner receives a future AEW World Championship match. So the competitors we had in this match were Claudio Castagnoli, we had Wheeler Yuta, Penta Ezero Miedo, Ray Phoenix, and we had Andrade in here. And who else was in this match? I think Roosh was in this match. Yeah, Roosh was in here, and Dante Martin. I feel like I'm forgetting some people. I thought this was a pretty good casino ladder match, but at the same time, I'd be kind of pissed if I was in this match because, like, I mean, we all know who came back at at the end here, with MJF coming back, or some coming out as like a Joker type, with a kind of like a Halloween mask on. Basically coming out like just getting handed the casino chip, getting handed the poker chip. He basically did nothing in this match. So I would be kind of upset if I was in this match, but I mean this match was fine. I mean it felt short in my opinion. I feel like but there was a lot of big spots that happened in the short amount of time. I mean, there was a nice sunset flip that I think it was Andrade did onto Wheeler Yuta onto a ladder. That was nice during the match. We had Penta coming out, just hit a whole bunch of Canadian destroyers, which that is one move in wrestling that is so overused. The Canadian destroyer, like he was coming out hitting on everybody. Um, I There was a really nice spot where Andrade took a Canadian destroyer on a ladder, is like bridged like to the ring to the barricade. That was a really cool spot during the match. Ray Phoenix, he did a splash through a table on the outside of the ring. Ray Phoenix, he was looking like an MVP during this match. Let's see who else. Who else did good? Dante Martin. I think it was Dante Martin who took the sunset flip power bomb. I think it might have been him. Claudio Castagnoli, he was showing some really good strength. Like there was this one spot in the match where like the ladder was like there was like two ladders in between each other, and like he lifted the ladders up, and like wow, I'm pretty sure was on Gerardi was on like top of the ladder, which that was a very interesting spot during the match. Um, but yeah, the Joker came out, which looking back, it looked like MJF, which I was doing a live stream that night with the Flex Zone podcast. And I was saying, okay, I think I knew who the Joker is. Because the body, like this, the way the guy was built, I go like, this looks like MJF. And like the way the guy was doing like all of his mannerisms and stuff. And I was correct. It was him. It was MJF, but he wouldn't take off his mask until later on in the night. But I mean, this was a good match, but I just wish maybe they could have brought the Joker and somebody else, and maybe had MJF just come out and attack the winner of the main event. They could have done it that way, but hey, I mean, this was I mean, it's a good opener, good stuff here. Excuse me. The next match we had was a tournament finals for the inaugural AEW World Trios Championship. We had the Elite Kenny Omega, or as people like to call him, Olivier. Like Jim Cornette likes to call him that, and other people. So we had Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson going up against Hangman Adam Page and the rest of the Dark Order, Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Basically, this was Kenny Omega just trying to prove a point here. Like, hey, he's back, and I think it was Don Callis on commentary. He's saying that, or it was somebody on commentary saying, hey, maybe he's like, I'm swerving everybody. Like his shoulder, he wasn't, when he was wearing his shirt and wearing like that kind of like sling type of thing that he was doing. Maybe he was just swerving everybody, and like he's back to full health. Like he's great in the ring, which he was good in the ring here. Omega was looking good. I mean, he was hitting some nice snapdragons, some nice V triggers. I mean, Kenny Omega was looking good in this match, and even the Dark Order looked good during this match. John Silver and Alex Reynolds. I think those two guys. This is probably one of the biggest matches that they ever been in AEW. So that was cool stuff here. I mean, the Young Bucks, they were just being the Young Bucks here, hitting a lot of super kicks. Basically in AEW now these days is this hitting high spots after high spot after high spot. And that's basically what this was here, hitting a lot of high spots in this match. I mean, but it was good. I think it was one of the best matches of the night. But the ending came when Hangman, he was going for the buckshot lariat, and he hit John Silver, and then like Kenny Omega like went in for the cover on John Silver and got the win. So the winners of the match were the Elite. So they were the first ever inaugural. They were the first ever inaugural trios champions here. Which I thought this was like an odd placing for this match when I was watching this show, because like you had like a couple other trios matches on this night. Like, why don't you say this like towards the end? Because then you're asking a lot for like other trios matches, to deliver. So I was thinking, why not put this later on in the show? Because it's going to be hard for some of these other matches to deliver up to that point. And, you have a lot of matches on these shows, which that's one thing that AEW needs to do better with. Like, they need to cut down with the length, like how many matches are on these shows. Because I mean, some of these matches didn't even like matter on the show. Like, it's just building up towards like an AEW Grand Slam, which is happening in a couple weeks here, and I think it's not Rochester. It's somewhere in New York. I can't exactly remember, but yeah, I mean, this was a great match. I enjoyed it. Probably one of the best matches of the night. But yeah. And then we go on to the next match, which we had was the AEW TBS Women's Championship match. We had Jade Cargill defending the title against Athena. I mean, this was a very short match here. Only got about 4 minutes in this match. I mean, Jade Cargill, I mean, this wasn't her best performance here, but I was hoping maybe they might give Athena the win here, but they didn't do that here. And also, I like the way Jade Cargill was looking in this match. Also, she looked all green. Pain, like being like a She-Hulk here. And she had her hair like brunette in this match. So I thought that was cool. But this match, I really wasn't a big fan of. It was just too short for my liking. So, but Jade Cargill did end up retaining the AEW TBS Women's Championship. And then now we move on to another six-man tag team match, or trios match. We had Warlow and FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood going up against Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. Um, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's cool seeing the Motor City Machine Guns on this show, but it's like you didn't really need the Motor City Machine Guns here, and like they were being like more heel Motor City Machine Guns, which I'm not really a fan of that. I like them more as like a face where they could do more high flying moves and like the more over the top moves here. Um, that it feels like more in this match. They were just trying to work on the body parts of like FTR in this match, and basically this whole match was just getting keeping Wardlow over here in this match. If I can even talk right now, um, like I said, and Jay Lethal, he's being his normal heel. He is, like I said, I mean, this is basically to build up Wardlow more. Um, But I mean, it was cool seeing the Motor City Machine Guns on here. I would like to see maybe like FTR maybe go to like Impact or like Ring of Honor. Maybe you have like a little um Motor City Machine Guns going up against FTR because that would be pretty cool. Like if they do more, it's like cross promoting. Like because I want them to do more cross promoting with Impact and actually show some more Impact stars on AEW because Impact they need a love over there because Impact's been doing some good stuff. I've been enjoying what they've been doing. Um, but like I said, this was basically this show more love for Warlow in this match. But after this match, I mean, the winners of the match we had were Warlow and FTR who won the match. But after the match, we had Samoa Joe make his return, which it's been a while since Samoa Joe has. The last time I think we've seen Samoa Joe was that Ring of Honor pay per view, Death Before Dishonor, when he was defending the Ring of Honor Television Championship. So it has been a while since we've seen him, but it was cool seeing him back. And yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe the Samoa Joe return kind of got outshadowed by a lot of different things on the show. Especially in the whole ending that went down. So I mean, but it's cool seeing Samoa Joe back in AEW. And then the next match we have Powerhouse Hobbs going up against Ricky Starks. If you're expecting a lot of this match, you guys are were very disappointed. Like if you're expecting a lot, like because these guys can put on some pretty good stuff, but the match was all right for what it was, but it was just like really short for my liking. Which they're probably building up for a match at AEW Grand Slam. I mean, a lot of the show, I mean, with last year's All Out, they didn't do like it didn't hurt as much because they weren't building a whole lot towards AW Grand Slam. They were doing a lot of blow off matches at AW All Out last year, but this year it seems like they're saving some of these blow offs for the big AW Grand Slam show. And I feel like this is one of those matches that's going to be happening there. I mean, like I said, Ricky Starks, he looked good for a couple minutes. He was in control. But I mean, the matches came to like like abrupt ending when Powerhouse Hobbs hit a spine buster and won the match. I'm like, what? I wasn't expecting that. But it does make sense for Powerhouse Hobbs to win here because have the heel go over and then have the babyface like do the chase. So yeah, and I feel like Ricky Starks, he's gonna be a pretty big star, in years to come. So I mean, this is just the beginning for Ricky Starks here. But I mean, and also Taz was, alluding to on commentary, how Ricky Starks is still having like neck problems and stuff. So, that was an issue. Like he had to like kind of overcome his like neck issues and stuff. And then, like I said, the spine buster came and Powerhouse Hobbs won the match. So yeah, that was that. And then the next match we had was Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland going up against the acclaimed Anthony Bowens and Max Cassidy. This was for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. This was a really good match. And I feel like the beginning of this match was like, what was the word for that saying? Like the crowd was like kind of dead for the beginning of this match, but as the match went on, the crowd got more invested in this, which yeah, I understand, with the crowds kind of trying to conserve their energy here because with a long show, like having 17 or so matches on this card. How much was it? 15 matches. Sorry, with having 15 matches on this card. I mean, that's a lot to sit through, and plus the pre-show. I mean that's just a lot to sit through. Um, but no, this was fun stuff, and during the match, you kind of heard a lot of boos from like you heard Shane Strickland and um Keith Lee kind of getting booed in here in this match, and like the Acclaimed are so over. The crowd's so behind them. Um, and there was some parts in the match where it looked like Anthony Bowens, he was doing some like botching a little bit. I mean, he did hurt his like knee during the match, so maybe they were kind of doing these little bit of these botches on purpose. I don't know. And also Keith Lee in this match, he was kind of looking a little lethargic, and every time like Swerve and Our Glory, they were working on a body part. I feel like they were getting booed and stuff. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's because they're from WWE guys, or I don't know the reason why they're getting booed, or because like ever since they won the AEW World Tag Team titles, it's like nobody really wanted them to win. Nobody go like, hey, it should have been these other guys who won the titles, and I especially love with like the whole press conference or like the media scrum after this when Swerve and Our Glory were talking. How how they were saying how Keith Lee was saying, hey, social media is beneath him. And Keith Lee, he's a great talker, and he's basically saying how social media is beneath him. He doesn't let that dictate, what's how he's going to be in the ring, and like he's just going to give it his all. He doesn't care what like the fans like really think. But no, I thought this match was great. And Swerve Strickland, he hit the double stomp off, and Keith Lee's like shoulders there, off the top rope, which I thought was good. But hey, I mean, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. It was one of the best matches of the night. Like a lot of people were saying, "Hey, this is the best match of the night." Like I have to put up there with one of the best matches, which I think I might talk about the best match. Like I might give my best match at the end of the show here, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, this was really good stuff here. And then the next match we had was also, and then they announced that during the press conference or the media scrum, they announced that um we're going to be getting a rematch between Swerve and Our Glory and the Acclaimed, and I think it was kind of interesting how they were kind of blurring the lines between kayfabe and kind of real life and stuff, saying, hey, they don't deserve the titles. Why are they getting the rematches? Um, and like I said, like with Keith Lee saying, hey, social media is beneath him and all that good jazz, and um, yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out at AEW Grand Slam, though. But now we'll move on to the next match, which was a four-way for the interim AEW Women's World Championship. Um, I feel like this match was a little like lukewarm, in my opinion, because we just got done having a interim champion for the men, and now we gotta have another interim champion again, which I'm not the biggest fan of having interim champions. Like I just don't really like it at all. They shouldn't have interim champions. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. Um, yeah, but like the competitors we had this match were Tony Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida. I was kind of unsure, like, okay, who's really going to win this match here? Because like any of these women could have won. I mean, Jamie Hayter, she's working her way up. She's Jr. even was said on commentary, hey, Jamie Hayter is getting more cheers by the day or by the weeks. So I mean, Jamie Hayter, she's gonna be up to that point eventually. Britt Baker, she already has a name established with her. So if they went back to Britt Baker, that would have been a problem. Um, because like I said, she's already established. Hikaru Shida, she's been AEW Women's Champion before. Could have went back to her also. Excuse me. And Tony Storm, she really hasn't had that big opportunity yet here. But no, I thought this was a good match. I mean, it was interesting. Yeah, had a lot of false finishes in this match. You had the teasing of like Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, which I had a feeling that was going to be happening during this match, which it did happen. So you had them teasing, kind of had Britt Baker pull out the referee, and then Jamie Hayter was like the shock that that happened. Um, I think it was interesting how they took how car shooting, she got taken out, and then she came out with the double candlesticks and started wailing a whole bunch of people with them. I thought that was nice. Um, Tony Storm, she was looking good in this match. I like the whole the triple submission that was happening in this match. I thought that was very interesting. Um, like I said, a lot of near falls, a lot of roll ups. It was going like who's going to win this match, but Tony Storm did end up winning the match here, which was good. I enjoyed it. And I'm happy for Tony Storm. It's going to be interesting. But like I said, um, they're just coming off of a interim champion, for the men. So like, why did they just vacate the AEW Women's title? Um, but I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see when Thunder Rosa comes back. Also, see that feud with her because they've been doing that whole thing with Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa as like a tag team. So that's gonna be an interesting dynamic because like with their tag team stuff. I mean, Tony Storm, she did say when she was doing the press conference, say, "Hey, she is gonna be civil about it. She's not gonna be a whole heel, but like she's just not gonna be. She's not there to be her friend. She's not there to be Tony Storm. I mean Thunder Rosa's friend. She's there to kick her ass, and that's basically how she said it. And she's gonna put Thunder Rosa behind her then. So yeah, well, so we'll see what happens there with that. And then the next match we had was Christian Cage going up against Jungle Boy. Um, yeah, this match was very disappointing. I mean, like I said, if you're expecting this match, to be a barn burner, you're expecting this match to be a long match. You're very wrong here, because as Jungle Boy was making his entrance, we had Luchasaurus turn on Jungle Boy, choke slam him on the stage, and then put him through a table out at ringside. And then Christian Cage basically, once Jungle Boy got in the ring, Christian Cage hit the kill switch and got the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, this is one of the matches that looks like they're setting up towards AEW Grand Slam. So like I said, a lot of these matches on this show are building up towards Grand Slam. I mean, I don't think all of these matches from All Out are going to be on Grand Slam, but yeah, that's the way this show is looking like, for with some of these matches being rematches and kind of being um blow offs. So yeah, but Christian Cage won the match very, very quick. And then the next match we had was Chris Jericho going up against Brian Danielson. This was a really good match. I mean, and it's crazy to think that that we never got these guys in a match before, with how long both these guys have been wrestling. And Jericho, he's wrestling at 51 years old, and Danielson, he's 41-year-old, and they did some great stuff. And uh, people are saying, "Oh, this is the best Jericho we had, for a long time." I wouldn't really say that, because I think the best Jerichos that I've seen, like the '03 Jericho, I really enjoyed '03 Jericho. I really enjoyed even the 2008 Jericho when he was doing the whole hypocrite type of character. But this Jericho isn't bad here. I enjoy it. Um, and it's cool that he's kind of like reaching in like to his bag of tricks, like with his characters, like how he's bringing back the Lionheart character. I think that's very interesting. I like that. Um, Also, some people are going to give like hate on Jericho because he beat Danielson. But I mean, yeah, so, like I said, some people are going to hate that he beat Brian Danielson here. But I mean, at this point, like I don't have really high hopes for like Jericho or like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't really have like at what age he's at and stuff. I really don't have a whole lot of high hopes for Jericho and like have high expectations. There we go for Chris Jericho right now because like what the stuff he's doing, like, and I don't like I said, I don't really think he's doing the best work of his wrestling career right now. But I mean, this match between Jericho and Danielson was good. Um, I think I really love the counters that they were doing with each other, like with the walls of Jericho, and you even saw, the half crab, half Boston crab, and even saw the lion tamer happen here. And there were some spots where Jericho didn't look so clean with some of the spots that he was doing, like hitting the lion salt that didn't look so clean. But like I said, he is 51 years old wrestling. And then Brian Danielson, he was doing a lot of stuff, back from Ring of Honor, doing like the cattle mutilation. Um, and I feel like Aubrey Edwards was kind of screwing Brian Danielson a little bit in this match because like, and even the fans were like getting on Aubrey Edwards a lot during this match. Like, you had the whole little blow happen, and Jericho basically won the match. Which, like I said, a lot of people are pissed off about that, but I mean, it makes sense, for the story that they're telling, with the whole Daniel Garcia stuff. It makes sense here for the whole story that they're telling, and because like is Danielson, or I mean, or is Garcia, is he going to be with Danielson, or is he going to be with the Jericho Appreciation Society? So it's very interesting, and this whole storyline is trying to go somewhere. So at least Jericho just isn't getting the win to just, randomly get the win for no reason. They're telling the story with this, so that's why I'm really not mad with Jericho winning here. Um, and then the next match we had was a six-man tag team match. We had Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro going up against the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. I wasn't really into this match. Like I said, the placing of these trios or six-man tag team matches were just very odd in my opinion. I just really wasn't a fan of that at all. Uh yeah, I just really wasn't a fan of the placing of a lot of these matches. I want to check if my audio is going okay. Give me 1 second here. 1 sec. Let me check if my got audio good. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, we're good. Yeah, so the what was I talking about this match? Oh yeah, I didn't really like the placing of this match, and I think that the reason why kind of gets a positive rating is because Sting was in this match and stuff. Um, it was okay for what this match was. I'm surprised that the House of Black didn't win this match here. I feel like they should have. They should have went over. Um, we even saw Sting do a spit in the face of Malachi Black. Yeah, I still don't understand what they're really doing with the House of Black here. Like, it feels like they're, burying him a little bit here, but yeah, I just don't really understand what they're doing with the House of Black right now. And Darby Allin, he got the win by doing the Last Supper. Um, this is one of your typical trios matches. I feel like this match could have been saved for Dynamite, in my opinion. They could have saved this for Dynamite. You had your typical big spots, your normal AEW stuff. So I don't know. I just feel like the wrong team went over in this match. House of Black should have won, but that's just me. Um, but now let's move on to the main event, which we have was CM Punk going up against the AEW World Champion John Moxley. This was a good match. I enjoyed it. I kind of felt bad for John Moxley here because he had a great summer here. Especially as AEW interim champion, which John Moxley hates the interim word because like at that point when the other wrestler is away for a long time, they shouldn't be called you shouldn't be called interim champion anymore. You should just be called the AEW champion at that point. But I kind of agree with Punk. I mean, what Moxley was saying there. Because if Punk would have been out for a few more months, and I said, hey, yeah, this strip Punk had the title, and whenever Punk gets back, then have him. You figure out something there when it gets to that point. Um, but no, this was a good match here. I mean, Punk, he got busted open by like the ring post in this match, and like Moxley, he was like a shark in water here. Like he smelt the blood, and like he just kept going back after that open wound that Punk was having, and Punk was just gushing down blood. Had it all over his white tights and all that, which was crazy. Um, this is a very hard fought match here. And we didn't get to see like normal CM Punk stuff, like him going to the top rope, doing stuff like that, or doing like his, um, using his feet, doing a lot of kicks there because with the broken foot, we didn't get really see a whole lot of that in this match here. A lot of the good counters. I mean, the crowd was a lot of the crowd was behind CM Punk, but I say like maybe like halfway during the match, you had a little bit more Moxley fans here, which all these fans aren't from Chicago, Illinois. They're not all from Chicago, but because a lot of people from different states or different places travel to these AEW pay per views because they're pretty big. Especially All Out is one of the biggest pay per views for AEW of the year. Excuse me, is one of the biggest shows of the year for them, and I feel like it was more split here. A lot more fans were behind Moxley in this match here, but no, I mean this match was good. Um, and like I said, it felt like more of like a hard fought type of win for CM Punk. With him, hitting the back, hitting the GTS and like having Moxley just fall over Punk's back here. I mean, this was just a brutal match, and like seeing the back and forth counters that they were having, with like the Anaconda Vice and like with the with the Death Rider. Yeah, yeah, or like the Paradigm Shift, whatever Moxley calls it now these days. That was a nice counter that Punk did into like the Anaconda Vice. Um, yeah, Punk did end up retaining, or no, Punk did end up winning the AEW World Title back. So I mean, both guys, they kind of got both guys got what they wanted here, because like Moxley won at his hometown, in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then Punk won in Chicago. So I mean, both guys, like I said, got what they wanted. And then after the match, the whole lights went out. You had that whole voice message or that voicemail being going over like the speakers and stuff of the show. We're talking Tony Khan talking about MJF saying, "Hey, you need to show up at All Out." And goes like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna get." Saying to MJF that he's gonna give him all this money and stuff. Which I don't know if that voicemail was real or if yeah, I don't know if the voicemail was real or if they just did something, right then and there. I don't know exactly, but it feels like that's kind of exposing the business a little bit, which I'm not a fan of, like overexposing the business, which I'm not a big fan of. But yeah, we had MJF come out basically. He took his mask off, that like Joker type of mask off or that Halloween type of mask off, and held up the poker chip and said, "Hey, I'm coming for that AEW World Title. I'm coming for it." And that's how the show ended. That's how the pay per view went off the air. Which, yeah, I mean, I would have been more with. I would have rather seen MJF come out and attack CM Punk after the match rather than having MJF beat a Joker who won. I feel like somebody else should have won, in my opinion. Like I said, maybe have MJF come out and attack Punk. And also MJF, he was getting a lot of cheers here in Chicago. You know, after we haven't seen MJF for a long time, he got a big pop when he came out. People were behind him a lot. He was getting more cheers than Punk was, and Punk was getting some boos because how vocal Punk CM Punk has been lately. Um, but yeah, that's how the show went off the air there with, them kind of doing a little stare down. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna give my favorite match here, and then I'll talk a little bit about the media scrum that happened. So I definitely think the best match of the night, like on the show, was it wasn't the main event. It was definitely the trios match for the trios tag team titles here. I definitely think that was the best match on this card. And then close second is like and then second is the acclaimed match, the acclaimed versus Swerve in our glory. Okay, so now let's talk about the media scrum here. Like I think these media scrums are cool, but like I feel like the people that were asking the questions were asking more things like that weren't related to the show and stuff. I mean, they were related to like once the media scrum started, you had Punk there basically saying to the guys, "Hey, you guys do improv, doing something like that," and um, they brought up the whole thing about Colt Cabana or Scott Colton, which is his real name. With him saying, "Oh," which I never really heard I never really heard that like interview because apparently Tony Khan did a thing with like Forbes, and they asked him about like the release of Colt Cabana, and like Tony Khan didn't give to like a full reason um why Scott Colton or Colt Cabana was released. But as Punk, they kept asking Punk these questions. He just started getting more pissed off to what was going on and stuff. And he was saying, talked about. He even brought up stuff about Hangman Adam Page. You know, um, how he doesn't like to take advice from others. And he said he made this like baseball reference. I don't know exactly the reference that he made. Like he was talking about being like Sammy Sosa and like being other Chicago Cubs players, and saying how you don't want to work on your swing and stuff. That kind of makes Hangman kind of look like a dick there, but like um at the same time, I mean, if they don't want to take advice, then I guess they don't want to take advice, because like with Hangman Page, he doesn't want to take advice from these older guys, back in the locker room. That's where Punk kind of got a little mad about and stuff. And also, he was getting on a lot of these reporters saying, "Hey, um, saying don't be putting out false news." Like, hey, he was like, "I even haven't even talked to Scott Colton in a long time." Like, and he was even taking shots at the Young Bucks also. Saying, "Hey, we're not playing in Rosita, California anymore," which talking about the Young Bucks there, taking shots at them, and being how all these guys who are EVPs, there's all best friends, you know they don't want to take advice from these older guys. And Punk, he's trying to be like this locker room leader now, but but that he's been away for so long, with his injury and stuff. People don't want to take advice from him. And also people are saying that Punk went um he went out for himself or whatnot, or no, he went into business for himself, and they were, I mean, the whole thing, with what's it called, with Hangman Page, and like that kind of like spiraled everything, and that was back in May. That was back in May when they was doing that whole Hangman and Punk feud, when he was doing that like whole promo when Hangman was saying that he was trying to protect AEW from Punk and all that, and like I said, that was back in May, and they couldn't resolve that then. Like, I don't know. I feel like everybody who's taking shots at each other, is in the wrong here. Nobody's like really in the right here. Because everybody's kind of been acting like kids, and like Punk says, he goes like, "I'm working with a lot of kids right now, like a lot of little kids," and he hates it. because people not acting right and stuff. So I understand the frustration where CM Punk is coming from. But at the same time, I mean, everybody's kind of like acting like little kids here, with with all the stuff that's going on, and it's putting AEW in a bad light right now. Because, like I said, a lot of these questions, and like Tony Khan, he was on the defensive here, dropping f bombs. He was even talking about like Jimmy Crockett Promotions, and he was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna put up with this bullshit. I don't have to put up with this," and all that jazz that Tony Khan was talking about. Tony Khan, he's very awkward on the microphone, very awkward. I'll tell you that. Um, Hopefully Tony Khan never watches my show. He probably won't even watch my show. um, yeah, I feel like a lot of this show, got outshadowed, and like a lot of this weekend got, or a lot of this past weekend got outshadowed. What everything that went down after the show here, and then also we had the whole suspensions, with that whole fight that went on backstage with um you had Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, because apparently they got in a fight backstage with um CM Punk and Ace Steel, which apparently Ace was swinging a steel chair shot, swinging a steel chair backstage and hit one of the Young Bucks in the head with it. Um, the police all had to get involved. Um, you had Ace doing some biting, you know, um, biting like the Young Bucks and like pulling Kenny Omega's hair, and like Punk was involved with that. It was just a bad debacle that happened backstage, with this whole fight that went down. So kind of these championship matches, with the AEW championship and the trios tag team titles, they got vacated, because this past week's Dynamite. So right now we're like they're doing like a big tournament to crown a new AEW champion, and then we also this past Dynamite we had Death Triangle going up against Best Friends, and Death Triangle became the new trios champions. So like I said, a lot of the stuff with these what's the word I'm looking for, with these with all these suspensions and all these titles that happened, all these defenses that happened at All Out are kind of negated here. They kind of mean nothing, because these guys got suspended, because like the Bucks and Omega got suspended, and I think that yeah, and Punk and Ace, they got suspended. I'm pretty sure there were some other guys that got suspended. I thought I saw Christopher Daniels. He was one of the guys who got also suspended. But I think Punk and Ace can be released from their contract. So we'll see in the coming weeks if they get released or whatnot. But it's just puts AEW in a really bad light right now, which is really a shame, because I want to see AEW do good, because we need because it puts more places for wrestlers to work. So if AEW goes under, then the only big company we have is WWE, and even they were talking about the Tony Khan, talking about him doing like with the whole contract tampering or whatever with that. So I just don't know what to believe on like social media. Like I try to stay away from like rumors and like all that good jazz, because some of it's true, some of it's not. Take some of it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I mean that was my AEW All Out 2022 review, and talking about the whole media scrum. Hey, this was a long show, but hey, but I'm finally happy I got it out for you guys. If this is your first, and also if you're making to the end here, I appreciate that. And go follow me on all my social media platforms. Go follow me on Twitter at the True JSB on Twitter and Instagram, which my links are down below in the description. And also, if this is your first time checking out my channel, Smash that subscribe button, super kick that subscribe button, tombstone it, German suplex it. Just tap it if you want to, slap it, but don't double tap it because if you double tap it, you might unsubscribe. So don't do that. Just don't do that at all. Just tap it once and you'll be subscribed. And also turn on my post notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video so you don't have to wonder, oh, when is Juggernaut making a new video? Well, you already know when I'm making a new video because you already have all my post notifications. So do all that stuff, subscribe, hit the like button. And this is your boy Juggernaut saying peace out, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. So peace out. See you later.